Hey everybody, yeah, this is an on-camera edition in 1080p, but welcome to the November 2014 monthly opinions of the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book and franchise. And as you saw with my review of 266, I basically thought it was a decent continuation of the werewolf arc, or werehog arc, I should say, in the current story arc that they got going in the comic book. So I thought it was a nice continuation of that sub arc of the main story arc. I thought it was good. 8 out of 10. It's all right. But then, as I mentioned towards the end of my review, we got some hints of possibly what's to come in the next few months. Now, we all know back about, well, basically last month, and then basically in September and mostly last month, and I think even towards the end of August, we kind of got the announcement that a sequel to Worlds Collide was going to occur. That's right, a sequel to Worlds Collide was going to occur. And we had no idea exactly how this sequel was going to play out, if you will. Had no idea. But then, hold on for a sec. But then, we get the announcement, we get the announcement that Worlds Collide 2, if you will, is going to be known as Worlds Unite. But the only question then we had on our minds was, how is Worlds Unite going to happen? How is it going to come to be? Well, with 266, we kind of got an idea of exactly how that may happen. You see, they kind of hinted at the fact that Eggman was going to create this thing, this device, if you will, to contain all the dark Gaia energy. That's right, he was going to take this thing, if you will, and can use it to contain all the dark Gaia energy, because apparently in one of the panels it shows that of 266 with Eggman, it shows that the dark Gaia energies are 10 times, if not 25 times more powerful than Chaos Emeralds, rings, or any kind of other energy source Eggman may think of using to conquer the world. That is basically more powerful than all of those maybe combined. So, basically, in my opinion, we kind of got a hint, if not a clue, as to what Worlds Unite will be based around. We basically got the first clue out of any of the Sonic comic books of how we're going to get to Worlds Unite. And I think from that one panel, from those few pages in 266, we kind of have the idea that Dark Gaia is going to have some kind of involvement some way. Again, overall, I thought it was good. Now, as far as the following issue goes, I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Team Freedom is going to get backup help, is going to get some help from Team Fighters, and that when it does look like it's bleak, we're going to have Sonic in werehog form show up and basically trash the place and help them get the blue Chaos Emerald. So yeah, that's pretty much a foregone conclusion. But I do see some decent character development as well when it comes to the characters. I really do. What I see is I see Sally herself kind of being like, okay, we do have to do this, the split team deal. We do have to split our teams in half just in case something happens. But also, I can see this character development for Sally, that she's going to realize that now they got to be on their toes. That just because something looks like it's, easy pickings or looks like a trap, it is. It just might be a trap. But also, you got to keep your eyes around and around to see what kind of trap it will be and what the scenario may call for, or or what kind of plan will be called for that situation. So definitely some character development there for her, where she's going to find out, basically, like I said, that when they do this kind of stuff again, that yes, they're going to have to split into teams. Yes, they may have to have Sonic with them most of the time. But also, she's going to realize that when it looks like it's a trap, it probably is, but to also keep an eye out around to see what kind of trap it will be and try to plan out exactly how the method of attack or how the strategic planning is going to come into place, if you kind of get my drift. So, anyway, I see that happening with Sally. I really do. Now, we did get a clue that Knuckles does have a Chaos Emerald waiting for them, thus bringing up their total as far as 266 goes to 3, and of course probably by the end of 267 up to 4. But here's a question, though I think is going to, people are going to wonder. Will the Chaos Emeralds, all 7 of them, combined with the Dark Gaia energies, have something to do with Worlds Unite? Probably. It's probably a safe bet that they will, but I think it's going to be more along the Dark Gaia energies. They're going to play a real integral part in what happens with Worlds Unite. And I think that, along with what's ever going on in Mega Man right now, is also going to play a factor as well. It really is. Excuse me. Gotta straighten it, kind of give the arm some exercise. Nice. But yeah, it really is going to play a factor, in my opinion. Now, as far as Universe goes, we're currently heading to the last issue of the Knuckles Shadow Eclipse story arc. So that's going to be really interesting to see how things go there, even though we probably got a spoiler already in 266. And then, of course, after this story arc, we have Spark of Life. That's why we have Spark of Life, which is going to be it seems to me, a very centric Sally, Tails, Nicole, big story arc. But mostly a Sally and Nicole central story arc. And apparently it has to deal with this doctor that might know something about Sally and Nicole's past. And it might involve possibly the return of a certain character that a lot of fans are hoping for, but are not too sure of. And that character would be Shard. See, a lot of fans are hoping that this someone or something that's waiting for Nicole is Shard. I wouldn't say it's completely Shard, but one can only guess at this moment that it could be. And if it is Shard, then that would be a surprise. But I highly doubt it will be. Now, what's going to be interesting about this is the synopsis for the second part of Spark of Life. The synopsis, if you will. If you're a Tails and Nicole shipper, you might like the synopsis for it. Because apparently, in part 2, you're going to have Tails and Nicole teaming up to debug the system. Or to debug something. While Sally and Big team up to do some to investigate what else is going on around that island. So, if you're a Tails and Nicole shipper, this might be something you'll like. But the question is, will it lead to anything? Maybe. Maybe we might get a nod to that shipping fandom. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But it's kind of interesting that Ian, along with his new co-writers, would team up Tails and Nicole together in part 2. Really interesting. Really interesting. And what's even more funny about this is they have a variant cover for it. I guess because, part 2 is coming around Valentine's Day, or at least around close to that time frame. You have a variant cover where it's kind of an interactive variant cover where you can basically choose who you'd rather kind of like connect the dots, choose who you think who should be with who. Now I'm surprised there's no Tails there. Then again, maybe I didn't see anything. Maybe I didn't see it correctly, but there was no Tails. But it kind of surprises me that they would put that there. And Nicole's one of the female contenders. So, who knows? Maybe again we might get a nod to the Tails Nicole shipping fandom, but we only have to wait and see. But now, the question is going to be what's the overall effect of Spark of Life? What's the overall effect going to have? We don't know yet. But speaking of Sonic Universe, and speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, and even speaking of Mega Man, we kind of get an idea now since October of exactly how Worlds Unite's going to flow. And how it's going to flow is kind of like a looping kind of style. Now, according to what they said over at this Comic-Con last month, is basically Worlds Unite is going to have a narrative loop throughout the books. Now, what that means could be anything. If the books are going to be straightforward on Worlds Unite, then fine. But it looks like what they're saying is it's going to go between certain books before it ends. Like it might start off with a Mega Man issue, and then the following month's Mega Man issue won't deal with it. Yeah, that's basically what it sounds like. It basically sounds like if it starts in Mega Man, and if you will, or Sonic, that the following month's issue won't deal with it. It'll be a standalone issue. But then the month after that, it will deal with it. That's the only assumption I can get out of what they mean by a narrative loop between the titles. But overall, it does make you want to read Worlds Unite when it comes out. As far as the other Sonic news goes and everything, Sonic Boom comes out this Saturday morning, Pacifically and Eastern, around 7 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. I might check that out. And the games come out about a few days later. So I'm probably going to buy that one, I hope, to see what it's like. Because it looks interesting to me, and I might get a kick out of it. But that's all I have to say on this monthly opinions of the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book and franchise. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.